Yeah. So the two questions, if you like, I'll start with the two questions. We have already the problems, if you like, which we have. I thought we had some confusion, so that we will discuss the first. Yeah. In this question, if like there was a question that like why D is not the answer, right? So we have like D is actually, we can say this is not business requirement, but this is the functional requirement. So we have the question that which is the business rule requirement. So we can say that like how systems should behave, that one is like it's the your functional requirement onto that. So our business requirement is if you like manager approve the expense reimbursement. So that's the right answer onto that.
So the C is the answer?
C is the answer. So D is the functional requirement. And you can say this is the, if you are saying first, that's the change control. Okay, they are no longer initiated from the alarm database. So there is a change. And the second one you can see, this is actually we want to specific industry standard. So this is the specific to that enterprise level requirement. And this is actually your business requirement, and this is your functional requirement.
Can the export report formats be non-functional because it's talking about file format and all that?
No, that's not functional. It's like you can say you want any industry standard. So there is like the type of you want in specific format. Non-functional is completely like different onto that, because here we want any specific format, the industry standard. So this is the example for enterprise requirement. Okay. The next
and D, how is it a functional requirement and not enterprise requirement? How can we differentiate between the two?
So in this actually, see, is there any business onto that?
No. Email
No,
notification
right?
for past. No.
So this is actually
But
the
email
normal.
But this thing is a common for all enterprise applications, right? Like not necessarily the same.
But because within that you need to define like comments are fall into. So this is actually like this is mean actually we have the actual business we are coming that like expense reimbursement we need to follow from the manager. It needs to be approved by the manager. So there is like
this is clear. This is clear for business rule requirement. Yeah, this is clear. Only the email notification one is a bit confusing. Like because you said it's functional. How do we look at anything?
How your system behave when you are changing your password? How the system should behave? Right?
Okay.
Like what functionality you want actually when your password should change. So this is actually like the requirement. So there's not any business associated with it.
Okay. So both B and D are functional requirements.
B is in industry, enterprise level validation, like a requirement.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There is 5 category of the requirement, right?
Yeah, got it now. Yeah.
Okay. And the next one, actually, we have it like the doubts onto that. We have C and D. So actually told actually C is the answer. D is not the answer because if you see what actually we want to do from here, expense report approval, right? And if you see like here, we are giving multiple conjunctions within it. The manager should be able to approve expense report, right? So if you see till that, it's fine. If you say that like and what actually like you say, it doesn't say for what purpose you want to see that receipt, for what purpose you want to see the totals for that.
Okay. So that should be a separate.
That should be like transactions are there, and really what purpose, like for review or what purpose he wants to see other receipts or other hotel details. So that should be a separate requirement. That should be separate requirement. It's actually like not granular as well. So that's why like the answer D is not correct. So there is, you can say, only the
Okay.
C is the clear one. View current account balance. Users should be able to view the real-time balance for their online brokerage account. Okay.
So answer is C, right?
Answer is C.
Okay.
Mukesh, can you please explain again why D is not the right answer?
If you can see, actually, like if you say the first, if you say within this requirement, the expense report approval, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, actually, like I can say till only this, okay? In that scenario, the requirement is clear and concise. And after that, like for what purpose I'm going to see the receipt? Okay, what actually like the mean actually to see the hotels? So there is there should be separate requirement for that.
Okay.
There are actually like so there should not be any conjunctions onto that. So there actually like and both two ends are there now into that.
Okay.
So that is like it's this should be separated into multiple requirements. To support, actually say to approve the expense report, he should see the receipts in a separate requirement, not with a single requirement.
Okay.
Fine. So that actually we have covered the yesterday session of the objectives and smart objectives and different tips for the requirements. So today we are going to see how we can go for the next phase, like how we can go for from objectives and requirements to specifications. So specification in actually normal term actually says that they are the use cases or user story. So depend on different methodology we use to say specification or use case or user story. Yeah. So when we design specification, so that is actually we update specification onto the design stage for any project. So in Pegasus also there is actually some of the steps which we want to follow during the design stage, and what is the role of business architect during the design stage we are going to see. And Pegasus also provides some best practice how you should write specification, and then finally we are going to see how we can add specifications and everything within the Pega. Okay, so this is like we are going to cover today. Yeah, so this is actually, like you can see that from the diagram. So initially business stakeholders, they define the business problem, and then business architect interact with the business stakeholders to define the objectives and the requirements. And there is like the specification is not the correct word. It should be specifications and not objectives and requirements will be created with the meeting with the business stakeholders. And then business architects interact with the system architects, and then they define the actual specification and prototype of your application. And once actually like everything was completed, then the business stakeholders will test it out, like okay, what we want actually from the application, we are able to achieve that one. So they will review the completed application for final acceptance. So the role of business architect in designing is, if like if you can say, they work as a translator. So they, what actually business stakeholders is want, they translate it to the technical design team, and if technical design team has some questions technically, that need to be converted into business language and need to be translated back to business stakeholders. So business architect roles play a actually like middle onto that. So he actually serves the translator for both groups from the business stakeholders point. So he converts business to technical and from technical to business. So business architect plays both role on. So he should understand both business and some of the technical terminology as well.
So Mukesh, you mean to say that if business architect is playing the role of serving as a translator, so what is the difference between business architect and system architect? Because I think that system architect is the one who is responsible for making the development team understand the requirements.
And yeah, that he will be going to do. Actually, this is the high level. Actually, like where we are doing the DCO session. This is not where we are designing the implementing the application. So this is like when you have the requirements, and that requirements need to convert into specifications.
Okay.
Right. So there actually like some questions will come. Actually, how that need to be done. Look, like if you say you have some champions who have the domain knowledge, technical domain knowledge, so they will participate. Not actually like the developers who are actually like who are actually going to build the application. So they're actually he will going to talk only technical to within their team. So first you need to interact with LSA, like who is the more knowledge, so that actually like your requirements can be converted into specification. So how you can achieve that? Because specification are more detailed way of your application. What and how and everything need to be covered as part of your specification. So that will be discussed. So that's need to be discussed with the translators, because see, they will talk about only technical. Okay, I want from the system point of view how that is happening within their systems, right? When they developed it.
Okay.
So might be like that language will be different from the business point of view. So that need to be converted. Like the business architect plays that role as a translator for to convert the requirement from the business to technical and from the technical to business onto that. And if there any conflict onto that, so that the conflict and or any confusions that need to be resolved by the business architect plays the major role between two.
Okay, so system architect is the means he's a technical person.
That's right. That's the technical person.
Okay.
Okay. But then business architect needs to know a lot of technical stuff too then. If he needs to able to understand and translate it to stakeholder and all that.
Yeah, actually they have the basic things are there. Actually they need to like how the system works. Everything they know all to that. So some of the terminology, what the technical terms, how the system should behave. Right. See, business stakeholders provide you the actually like in a very higher term that we want to achieve some specific target by something like that. And actually like the system architect will say it's like our system is not capable. We cannot support 100 people in our infrastructure, right?
Okay.
So I think that needs to be.
It means the business architect is going to convey the message to the system, to the developers from the business point of view, and system architect knows the limitation of the system. So to pass that requirement or not, so that's why they have to deal with the system architect. Otherwise the business architect, like I am playing a role of business analyst, so I have to see how the process flow in, because I am using Pega. So I am very well, and from looking at the user interface, so I can very well understand that how we can add a new feature in our business. Yes. But yes, then when I talk to the technical people, they tell me that this is not possible in our system. That's so at that time, system architect comes into picture.
That's right. They know this like what can be possible, what cannot be possible onto all the things. So if you say like business says to implement something, right? Then you came to the system architect to define that what that is possible or not, or how we can do that. Like, do we need to buy some third party or something like any product or any software to do that? So that like then you came back. Okay, you will get okay. This is the limitation, or how we can achieve the solutions for it. Then we will go back to the business stakeholders, convey that message, or we need this or this confusion is there, or this limitation is there. So in the business terms, yeah.
Mukesh, is there any like course for both this business and system architect? Because the business architect is has to depend on the system, because if there is any functionality which we want to implement, then there is a constraint from the system side. So if we understand the system, Pega system, so is there any course we can be both business system architect? Because I have seen that there is a role like this. Not from the Pega side, but generally I have seen this role, business system architect.
Business system architect. Okay.
Analysts, business and system analyst.
Okay.
So is there any role that which serves both purpose in Pega as well? Or no, they are entirely different in Pega?
No, I mean, Pega is actually, there is no such things. Actually, business architects are different, and actually the roles are defined separately for LSA, SSA, and SA.
Okay.
There is no, actually, yeah, actually, if you say, some people can play both roles. Actually, if they know actually how the business requirements works, how the technical things work, so he can play the both role as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, that if we have to play both the roles, then what we need to do in Pega if we want to play both roles?
Yeah, in that scenario, you need to understand more of the technicals as well, like how you can do that, what is the what are the features of the Pega, and how you can achieve, how you can use that feature in more detail.
Yeah, so it is very easy for system architect to become a business architect, but vice versa, it's not so easy, I guess.
Yes, that's yeah. Actually, because see, actually, if a person who is working with a system, right, he knows like how business also works. Actually, because he is going to implement that business into the technical front, so he knows business as well, little bit onto that. And
Yes.
actually, like, technically also, is actually he's also, because doing that, he knows the technical as well. So yeah, it's actually like for it is easy to convert from a technical role to a business role in Pega. And actually, yeah, it's not because technical. There are a lot of technical things are there in Pega. It's not, yeah. So that required a lot of different fundamentals, different rules, how the rules are happening. So all that things need to be, yeah. But one thing is there in Pega, there is no coding, right? Everything is form based. So if that is it, you don't want any programming languages or coding experience for that. So like Java, HTML, C, or you don't need any technical background. Only thing you need to know the object-oriented concept. Oops.
Okay.
So if you want to learn more onto the technical point of for the Pega, you just need to know the OOPS concept. That actually started on that day, right? On the second day, I was talking about inheritance. So that was the major concept was used to understand how Pega works.
Okay.
Mukesh, you said LSA, SSA, SA and all that. That's all system architects, right?
Yeah, all the three are the different three category of the SAs. So lead system architect, senior system architect, and system architect.
So do we have anything like for business architect too?
For business architect, there is one role only, business architect.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's the yeah. So in Pega, actually, we have 5 different activities which is defined when it is like for the first actually when we start the design, there are 5 different activities we need to perform. First, actually, we need to review what is the business objectives and requirements. So that actually they will get into the design phase. We'll review whatever that was from the planning phase. We got the requirements and the objectives. So first, we need to interact with the development team so that all the requirements are clear enough and that can be implementable one. And then engage the business stakeholders to ensure that the requirements will be implemented as specified. So that is like the second part. Once it was done, then business stakeholders will see that, oh, this was implemented as actually like they want. And they also manage the change control as well. And then if actually some requirements came, actually we want to include a new requirement or anything, then the change control process will part of that. And then because the next question that talked about previously, like which option solution will be best. So there will be multiple based option is there, which will meet the need of the business, will need the most value, and it will be like related to the organization, actually like whatever the organization values are there. So it's the solution is organization vision and values are getting catered with that solutions as well. So that all things need to be taken care onto the second scenario, the solution options. And actually we need to look for if there are any other opportunities which are there and without any technical scope, if we can include that additional business improvement as well. And then we need to do the traceability, all actually like whatever the requirements and an objective we have created, and then we need to, so that if we have anything we are missing, we can get the missing functionality up to that. So the traceability plays a major role to find if there is any gap or any missing requirement, or actually we need some more actually other features or functionality, so that needs to be done onto the requirement traceability. Okay, and then that's really one more identify opportunity for the process improvement. So we need to do the analysis of the edges process, identification of the problem areas, and other potential improvement. And finally, like we need to record the specification. Once it, like this is the part of DCO, direct capture of objectives. So in the project phase, actually there are two steps. Actually we see that elaboration and grooming. So during the that two sessions, we like discuss with the business, discuss with the business architect, and we finalized, okay, this particular requirement can be handled in this way. So the finally the requirements will be captured with that, and then we can insert that within the PEGA, and then we can see from the PEGA we can implement if that specification is getting implemented or how that can be implemented. We can control that from PEGA after that.
Mukesh, what is the difference between elaboration and grooming?
That will be going to cover. Actually, this is like we are going to cover that in details. Okay.
Okay.
So this is like the main purpose of the specification. It should be an agreement between the business stakeholders or customer, how the system should operate, and it is point of synchronization for the project team, basis for the master plan and schedule for the project, which methodology we are going to use, and how it should be built, and also baseline for change control. So this slide actually I've just included to with that. So it's just theory. You can skip that one.
When you say baseline for change control means what, Mukesh?
If you see, actually, like initially we have created the specification and one first, and after that, actually, if you are making any changes to the specification,
okay,
right? Actually, like, and then we can make that specification changes can be done from that. So once actually like, we have created the specification, and then after that we can start baseline that okay, this is my application, and if something comes up more onto that, we need to create some change control after that only.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
So this is actually like PEGA's best practice to write specification. So because if you see specification decide like give you the complete picture of your like how it should be done, who is the actor, and like when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and why we are doing that. So everything needs to be the specification should be clear onto that. If you are not clear on any one of them, then if you like it will be going to give incomplete specification and it might delay the application and the project, so that whatever the things we are building, that will be also not what actually business want. So if you say first actually who, in the who actually we need to identify who is going to perform the task, like who will be the actor. So it can be a single party or it can be a multiple party, or it's actually like it's a required human or effort, or it can be automated. So that actually like we need to take care during the when we are writing the specification, we should take care of that part. Who is the actor? and it's a single party or multiple party, or it's like automated, or do we have manual effort is required to perform that one? And then who is actually going to do that? Is a manager, or actually it is the customer, or the case worker? Who is actually going to perform that task? And what actually he needs to perform? So that once actually we decide who is going to do that, then what he needs to do? Do we need to enter any data? Do we need to review the only things? Do we need to do any calculations, or do we need to make any decision? So all that things we need to take care during the the specification should consist what the what actually we want to achieve from our that specification. So that need to be clear onto that. And when we want to do that. So if we say when means that during the process, can it be occur at any time, or it should be at the end, or it should be starting of your process, or it can be recurring? All that need to be checked for that when the work should occur. And then finally is how actually actor is going to perform. So we know who, what, and when, but how he's going to do that? Like he's going to use a desktop, he's going to use a mobile, or he's going to use from cloud, or anything like the instances wise, or is it to write any condition decisions, or writing he's getting data from database, or he's getting data from some other source integrations. So that is we need to take care onto the how part of the specification. And finally, why we are doing this? What is the need of that specification? Why that user need to perform that part? And do we need to perform that in any sequence, or it can be done in any order? So that also needs to be. And is there any regulatory or standards we need to follow? So that actually we need to take onto the why part of it. So the next slide actually says that it says about sorry. So it's actually we can write the business specification in two different formats. One thing actually we call it business use cases, and second is we call it atomic use cases. So what is the major difference between these two? Business use cases, which we define, that describe the complete process, and in a single document. We don't actually divide into different ones. So business use cases is actually a little bit complex, and there will be multiple actors can be there onto that, and there we have their own change of control. Okay, but in case of atomic use case, we make it is granular. So there will be one actor, and there will be no change of control. It will be going to focus on a single event. Okay, and it will be performed by without any change of control. It is going to perform that. So most of Pega's point of view, they actually ask to go for atomic use cases. So that can
it's a requirement, right? Atomic requirement, you basically.
Yeah. Sorry, Manoj.
I mean, it's like a requirement or specification when you say.
Yeah, it's a specification.
Okay.
Atomic use, like they told at the start, actually use case, use story, user story, and specification are the same term. So this is atomic use cases. So that is the specification we are talking about.
Okay.
Mukesh, can you give an example of business use case and atomic use case?
Yep. So if you see, actually you are hiring a candidate, okay? So if you see if you are hiring a candidate, what you can there are different things will be there. The candidate will be involved. Okay, the first actor, he is going to enter his detail. Okay. And then he will give his personal detail, his educational detail, and then his work history. Okay. And then once he will submit the work, it will go into the next actor, the screener. He will review that resume, and he will check. He will check if the person is fit for the job or not, and so that it will be taken care by that, and he will consult that like what is his notice period, what is his expected salary, what is the current salary. He will take on to that on the screening round. Once it like the screening is done, then he will go for the next round for interview. So someone will, other actor will take the interview for him. So this is actually when, and then once interview is finished, it will go to the again to back to the HR. So they will do the background verification. Once actually the background verification is fine, they will assess the candidate. They will ask for the salary what they are going to offer to him, right? So this is like you can say is a complete use case, and finally offer letter will be released to him. So the complete process is in a single case. So the complete process we have integrated into Streamline. So that is an example of the business use case. So within that you have divided into multiple ones. So first actually we have candidate, he is going to enter 3 details. So there is actually one use case, okay? And the second you have divided into screening. In the screening he is only going to the screening. So in that he to take first if it is for the purpose or not. Then he take consult like contact the customer to find his notice period and all the details. So here one more automatic use case was divided into that, and then one more use case for conduct the interview. So there is a separate person who is going to take the interview onto that. So that actually we have divided the business use cases to multiple automatic use cases. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the final, I think. Yeah, fine. There is 2 slides only. Yeah. So the next one is actually if you say, sorry, not this one. Yeah. So if you say actually when we start writing a specification, actually we don't have the sufficient information. Actually we will be all the necessary information not there. So actually we just write into the high level onto that. Okay, this is the requirement, and then how we can then high level summary of that. And during the that I told during the DCO, we can discuss the requirement with SAs and business experts and find what is the best approach, and based on that discussions, we can update the specification after once again. So that is like you say that it's not just one time we can get that. There might happen that we need to do an iterative way. So there will be multiple rounds of discussions to find the final refined specification, and then gradually it will be improved. So after that only, like after many discussions and iterations, the specification can be refined and can be finally given to developers to develop the same. So that's it, like the part of the DCO that we are going to cover as the DCO part, how we can go onto the DCO part. And finally, like how we can get to the edit the specification figure. So there is like in the same way when yesterday we see the requirement, then the same place there is one more tab actually for the specification. We can add the specification from there. So I was thought that I'm going to show you the demo for this all part. Actually, if you see one, now we go back to the Pega application and we can see that out.
Mukesh, just a quick question.
Yes.
You can do it. I'll just ask meanwhile. I mean,
Okay.
From what you're saying, it sounds like it's pretty straightforward. I mean, all you need to do is you need to have some domain knowledge. You talk about it, discuss, interact in the meetings, talk to the customers and other team players, stakeholders, whatever, get the requirement, put it into the Pega Design Studio. That's it.
No, actually, initially that will be like in a very high level, and then you need to discuss that, like how that can be done, what is not possible, what is possible, how you can achieve it. That's actually 5 things which is said, right? Like who will be the actor onto that, what need to be done, when it need to be done, all that need to be discussed onto the specification onto that. And finally, like that need to be refined. Actually, like, there can be multiple versions. You can prepare the version control also can be provided by Pega. as well.
Okay. You mean the version controllers? That's
Yes.
that's the code version controllers, right? You're talking about?
You can do the version controlling of the requirement and specification as well.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, in Pega, is there any tool for mockups to build mockups?
No, actually, like there is no mockups onto that. Actually, once you give the properties name, automatically it will give you some mockups onto that.
Okay.
That actually I'll show you that one.
Okay.
So if you see first time, actually if you see we have created this application, right? Actually like time off. So if you click onto the time off, the overview. Okay. So whatever the values when we are giving onto the when we have created the application, we can get the details of it. So initially you can see like I have not given the proper description of the time of application. So if you want to edit that, it's actually like we can edit that from here. So if you see actually I have given one samples onto that. So actually like this is the complete description we want to add onto that. Create a time off cache type to manage request for vacation, holidays, paid time off, family medical leave, sabbatical and bereavement leave. So basically just description I want to update for our application. So this is just once you update, so the description needs to be defined. That's it need to be discussed. What description we need to put onto the this part, and then in the meantime, actually, if you want to see like business objectives, so I want to edit the business objective after I created the application. That also I can do that. So if you say like I want to add this 3 times because which I added not smart one, so reduce the time needed for time of approval from 3 weeks to 1. So this is one earlier actually because that is not automated, so they might taking the longer time to do that. So now they want to do that to make an automated system for the time off and eliminate processing due to incorrect routing of request. So like if you see that like it's going to someone else manager or someone is going to approve that, so they don't want to remove the incorrect routing of the request. So the business objectives are written in that way: enforce company policy during the allowed time off. So there actually every company has some predefined policies when we want to take leave, like for sabbatical or and how many bereavement leaves are possible, how paid times, how many vacation holidays you can take. All that are actually there are specific to company policy. So we can impose the company policy as well. So that is one of the objectives as well. So that we can see we have added the descriptions and objectives, and then we can save it out. So now if you can see this is going to, like it's saved with the project, and you can see now in the details tab whatever the requirements and specifications we are going to release, it can be added here. So the releases iteration you can see from here, we can edit from here itself. So first, actually, like today we are going to add requirements. Okay, we're going to stop at 8 o'clock today. Okay. Yeah. So if you can see how we can requirements. Okay. So we are going to add one requirement for to support our time off application. So see, actually I have given the requirement. So if you say I want to which are the from description, I get to know which all the leaves I need to support. So I note I created a requirement says that all the requirements which are going to be support from the time of application. So this is the first requirement. So I just want to create that requirement. So this is my application where I am going to create that. So I'm given the requirement name as that. So this is actually the version control part of it. So that I told like it's going to, and the rule set version, we can create different rule set version with a different rule. Like if you want to change control, we can set that up. So that is like we can take the version control of the requirements as well. And then you can see that the category of the rule we can make as business rule, and this is because this is the main one, so we mark that as critical, and status we can make it new, and release and iteration we put that, and initially one requirement for external ID. We can, if you are using some other external system as well to control, so we can just link it and can write the so description is the same as the requirement name, and finally, like, we need to give the little bit more description about the requirement. So the application must support all of the following types of the leave request: vacation, family leave, sabbatical, and bereavement. And if you want an attachment to be added to support the requirement, we can add the attachment with as well. So it's like if any mock-ups or any other links are there, we can add attachment as well. So once actually we are done with the requirements, we can submit that out. Okay. So now you can see that there is one requirement actually supported like it come into here, and if you say if you want to actually if you are maintaining the requirements in separate Excel sheets. So if you say I have actually like an Excel sheet for this project, okay, I have actually all the requirements are predefined, and there actually like I have given what should be the sort description, and I want to include that in an Excel directly in Pega. So I can export and import the Excel sheet directly. So here we are going to show you how you can do that. So from the Excel tab, you can go to the export to Excel or import from Excel. So for this, actually, we want to import from Excel.
Mukesh, when this is application, you're saying is like a project, right, by itself?
Yes,
if you want to
that's right.
Okay.
So application, actually, we are going to create a time off application, actually, where we can then an employee can request for a leave, and it will go to the manager. Then he will review the request. He will approve the request. Then employee will go for leave and resolve after that.
Right.
So
So it's like within the organization a small project, so handling that project.
Yes. So this is an example for one of the small things that will have been included for that for this part.
Okay.
But it can be like for if a bigger project and enable the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is an example like for within a organization, we want to within the HR division for HR person, actually we are enabling this application.
Okay.
So if you see, actually some of the requirements are like we have captured in the issue, and we have put it into the requirements tag. So it should be follow the same structure. So what is the things which like need to be supported onto that? So it should follow the same template. So if you want, actually like the template can be downloaded separately as well. So if you see, it's like if you want to download the template first before starting onto the Pega project, you can download the template and you can fill the template onto that. And then once it like the requirements are filled up, we can export the requirements. I did. Oh, sorry. Actually, I need to import a tools file. Sorry. Okay. So from my desktop, I'm going to do that. So see HR requirements. And I can go for the next. So it will see me like it will show you the what are the contains from that Excel sheet. What's happening?
Is the extension correct that you're picking? I don't know. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
actually, yeah, I think it's actually like the uploaded file template could not be recognized. Please upload a valid file. Record the template requirement for details.
Probably the name is too long for it. I mean, sometimes it happens.
Name, maybe,
Or the extension. Yeah.
yeah, just checking that extension should be XLS. I think it should be XLSX only. Might be if I close that and then try to load it. So that
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be, yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, so it might be like it's first because if it is open, someone is changed or that's why it's not picking it up. So I'll close that and try it once again. No, there were some issues happening on this one. Okay. Okay, I'll check this out actually why this actually happening. The uploaded file template could not be recognized. Please upload a valid file. Yeah, it's already uploaded. Okay, I'll check that one. This one. Okay. So without that, actually, we're not able to upload the specification. Okay, we'll try with the specification if that is getting loaded or not. So we'll see that the same state is into this one as well. Either you can write create specification or you can import from the Excel. I'll just check if it is getting loaded or not.
You selected another option, right? What was that? Like either create requirement or action.
Yeah, action. From the action, there are two things: export or import. Oh, this is actually creating some. Oh, okay. I got that. So actually, that two files which I have has different template. Okay. That is like that two files are from different versions of the Pega. I think 7.11. So this is actually 7.2.1. So that's why actually I'm not able to load that one. I need to change the template and copy that requirements into that. And after that, I can able to do that. Okay. I'll show you that in the next on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that okay. This is the problem because I changed my Pega versions. Before actually I was used to use Pega 7.1.7. So there is like it's 7.2.1 might be the template is changed. So I need to convert that Excel to this template and then it will be loaded properly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually I'm going to show you that on Monday how to upload the like if you have created from the TCO sessions and how to upload that one. Actually, I've already shared this Excel sheets with you. So that is I think Ashok will be going to share that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So the final actually we are going to just 5 minutes. We are going to do the knowledge list. So there is just 3 questions. So we did not include much of them today. Yeah. Which two statements describe the purpose of a specification?
It's what to build.
Yes, that's one. One is that one.
To describe
An
what an
agreement with your customer on exactly how the system will operate. A.
That's right. A and D. B and C are the, actually you can see they are the requirements. Do that is the requirement, if you can see, that is not the specification. And the measurable criteria, then again the smart actually says that how you can measure your application. So that is like we do not specify that in specification. The next is which one is the well-written specification from this?
the C.
This question actually, like I had a discussion as well with someone actually. I think this answer should be D.
Oh, okay.
If you see the B, like it says the complete information. C is also like for me also C actually was thought actually like when start actually like C also looks actually like it was well written. It's like we want to use some encryptions to the password, but that actually again for me also it was a confusion why C is not onto that like is considered, but it was given the answers as C and not given any description actually why it was not C. All other like 2A and C actually we can see they are actually like that not are well written, because from this one actually like what easy to navigate, like what you want actually how is easy, so that actually is not given onto the A. Okay, and if it's D is actually you can say this is a requirement, it's not specification.
Yeah, now,
Yeah,
now
this is starting with reduced time, so it is an action word,
Right.
so that cannot be a requirement. That's what I
That's
thought.
right. So in this actually you can see B and C are actually two choices, and the answer is actually like it's B, but not actually give you that exact like why actually the C is wrong in this scenario. Because
B
it's
is more if and when condition, right? That is mostly for a requirement, right?
no, requirements actually doesn't say about if and everything.
Okay.
Specifications say that like if this is this, then do this, right? Everything.
Yeah, like it's a specific condition, so that condition will come as a requirement or it's a requirement, right?
No, that would come into the specification, right? Because this is a more descriptive way it was given. The requirement should be like clear and concise. Should be small, a
Okay.
small one. Yeah, and it's giving that like how you are going to do that must be populated, and that should not be requirement all that, right?
Mm.
So that's why actually it's answer is B onto that one. The next one is you are creating a new specification for your application. Which two of the following are the key activities when creating a new specification? So this is actually if you are doing for the first time, you are entering the details into the page application. Actually, you can see.
so A is an answer for sure.
Yes. Actually, I did not show you that one because and specification in application Pega. So that is like, this is the A and B. We need to decide the complexity onto that. And because there will be no implementation, because this is a new specification, there will be no implementation. So we cannot associate it onto that, and we cannot iterate it as well for the first, actually, because we say that is a new, so there will be no iteration for the first time. So that's why the answer is A and B for this one.
A and B.
Okay. Yes, A and B. Actually, I'm going to show you on Monday this one again, like how we can, when we have to write the new specification, how we can do that. So on Monday, I'm going to show you that, how we can write specification onto that, and how we can upload, export the Excel sheet as well. I'll show you on that day.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So that's it for the today. So we'll continue on Monday. So
Sure. And
happy
Mukesh,
weekend.
like,
All of you.
will you be able to show, like, not now, like when I know you're in a hurry, but will you be able to show a real system that you? I mean, you're working in Pega, right?
Yes, right.
I'm saying not now.
Yeah, I'll show you that one.
Yeah, not. But will you be able to later show a system how it looks, and a real system, a real organization?
Okay, I'll show you that one. I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, just to see how the requirements are written for the projects, how these projects are, like, I mean, will it be a problem to do that? Will it, or?
I think I need to stop the recording on the time, and then I can show you that.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Sure. Yeah. You're true. You're right. I mean, you can record that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything, like we can stop the recording.